Okay, hi everybody. This is Jen coming to you live from Fort Worth, Texas. So let me know where you all are joining in from tonight. And so tonight's video is going to be a little bit different. A little bit about me is that I am a nurse with 20 years of nursing experience, ranging from oncology, pediatric home health, nursing home, geriatric, psychiatric, mental health, those with substance abuse disorders, addiction, recovery, and also utilization review and management, prior authorization, appeals, also occupational health. So tonight, one of the topics I'm going to talk about is asking for help, especially in healthcare, especially for ourselves, especially being a nurse and asking for help. Because so many times we're taught, don't bother that person, they're busy, and you don't want to be a burden to them because how busy all nurses are. And I know even some people, nursing students that I know that are now in that in-between phase where maybe they've graduated from nursing school and haven't taken their boards yet, and they might be at their first job and, interning with somebody or precepting with somebody. Sometimes they are afraid to ask questions or ask for help because they don't want to feel dumb. They don't want to be a burden to their preceptor, all those things. And that can lead to some very dangerous outcomes. It can lead to injuries. So I just want to encourage you, if you need help, ask for help. Now, there are some caveats with that. Is one, it's okay to ask for help. And people can't read your mind, so ask for help. Because if you don't ask, the answer is going to be no. Now, sometimes even when people ask me for help, sometimes the answer is no, and is what I mean is no for that moment. Sometimes the answer is, I can't help you right now. I can help you when I finish X, Y, and Z. Especially when I was a floor nurse. A lot of times we would help each other because that's what nurses do. It's teamwork. And we would work together. I'd work with our nurses' aides, work with our mental health techs. And a lot of times we would ask, like, hey, what do you need help with? So then we could conquer the tasks together, where it was we were working together, not just so one person has a better shift than the other, or one person gets out on time and the other one doesn't. It's so one, the patients are taken care of, but where it's also you're getting the job done, everybody's safe, everybody gets to go home on time, and you can still have fun. So we would work together, and a lot of times at the beginning of the shift come up with a plan. Now, sometimes plans would fall apart depending on what's happening, but we would at least go in with some type of game plan and look at the priorities. And I know there's sometimes I feel bad if I have to tell somebody no who needs my help. However, I also have to prioritize who gets my help. And that's really hard in healthcare when everybody thinks that their need is number one, that they are the number one priority. However, with nursing, as in other things, you have to learn how to prioritize. I know some people that I know, I had a coworker at another job, and she would ask for help. And then some people were like, oh, I don't have time. But her and I, we would always help each other out. Even some of the nurses, when I worked at a previous job, worked every Saturday. the nurses I worked with, we would have a game plan of how to help each other, how to get out on time. And when my other friends, due to the hours she worked, sometimes she wouldn't know till the afternoon that she needed help. But by that time, everybody was like, oh, I'm out. I have my own stuff. And then they would make this, be like, oh, you should have asked sooner. But in that case, there was no way to ask for help any sooner than what this person was doing. And the person was doing everything right. And I get sometimes people just don't want to help. I would say still ask, especially in bedside nursing. Don't try and lift that patient by yourself because you're going to get an injury. And nurses and healthcare professionals from aides all the way up, I don't care if you're like the janitor working EVS, food and nutrition, therapy, lab, don't care, that you have to protect your back. I always say, especially in healthcare, that your back is your bread and butter, that your back is your moneymaker. Because in healthcare, if you have a back injury, that can, one, limit your income. It can also limit the different types of nursing jobs or healthcare jobs that you can do. And so I'm a very big advocate of asking for help using the equipment that is there. And I know it's also hard in healthcare to ask for help when you see everybody else as busy. And an option to do is where it's a win-win, like, hey, can you help me lift this patient or turn this patient, and then I can go help turn this patient. And in nursing, that's what you do. But a lot of times, and I mean, I've seen it myself, where you're the one always helping that other person, turn, change, get this other person, patient up with this other staff member, but then that staff member is one that never helps anybody. And I know that's really sad, but just be that example of helping, because people are going to notice. It might take them a while, but they are going to notice that you're the one doing that. And sometimes it may feel like nobody sees that, nobody knows. However, character is, and your integrity is what you do when nobody else is watching, to really see, how are you acting? Are you still going to help? And really think about the reason you're helping and went into nursing in the first place. I know nurses we're overworked, underpaid, just like a lot of other professions out there. And I get it. And I get that it's hard to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. And also asking questions, especially as a new nurse, as a new grad, also when you might be in a different position or transferring to a different department. This department over here might do things a lot differently. So it is okay to ask for help, ask questions. Even in my position, there are sometimes I have to ask other coworkers, hey, what would you do in this situation? How would you handle this situation? And, then I do the best with the information I have at the time. And for nursing and healthcare, that is one thing that changes, is you can only make the decision at that time with the information you have. Now, sometimes a few days later, new information comes in and you didn't have that information at the time to make the decision. However, you made the right decision at the right time with the information you had. And that's just like anything in life. You have to go off that information you have at the time. And yes, it does change and can be frustrating, because I know in healthcare, so many things change daily. And sometimes it is really hard to keep on top of everything, keep track of everything. I know for myself, I keep either a journal or, spreadsheet about different things, of different certifications, of when they're due, because it's really a lot to keep track of. Lots of changes as new evidence comes into play. Then that they take that evidence and be like, okay, we can do this now. We thought this way worked. Now we found this better way. And honestly, by the time certain changes get to the bedside, that research might at least be anywhere from 5 to 15 years old. Because before they can bring it to the bedside, there is a lot of ethical protocols that they have to go through before certain interventions can even be brought to the bedside. And also, it's okay, even in your personal life, to ask for help. That is a true sign of strength. It's not a sign of weakness. So whether you're needing support from a professional for mental health, for therapy, reach out and get that help. A lot of places have employee assistant programs. Actually, most places do if they have over a certain number of people. And your HR will have that number. Some places get anywhere from 3 to 8 free counseling sessions for everybody in the household. So that is a great way, for you to model with them how to ask for help, and also for yourself of taking care of your mental health. Because I know a lot of people might go to somebody in their faith-based community, whether that's pastor, priest, rabbi, for mental health. And sometimes, unfortunately, the people that are in faith-based leadership, a lot of them are not trained in how to give counseling. They are not trained. So take that with a grain of salt as you will, and do what's best for you when it comes to finding a mental health professional that you feel comfortable with, that you feel safe with, that you trust. And sometimes the first one's not a good fit, just like a doctor. Sometimes you might get a doctor and you're like, I am never going back there. Just like a church, just like, a group like an AA group, just like any of those types of groups, the first one might not be a fit. It's okay to find one that is. Especially with employee assistance, they will work to find you one. And then, like I said, you can get so many free counseling sessions, and a lot of times, depending on your insurance, additional sessions are free. So just check with your insurance company about that. And the other is asking for help in your personal life, especially when it comes to how household duties might be distributed, because there might be a time, if you're in a relationship, whether you live together, partnership, married, dating, whatever, where one person might be going through something, and where you're the one going through something and asking maybe for a little bit more support, especially if maybe it might be more where there's a distance, if that person can be the one commuting a little bit more. I'm not saying for that person to be the one always doing the commuting and driving, but if you're going through something, be honest with your partner and that person, and just ask them, like, hey, right now I'm going through something, it's a really stressful time at work, or this is what's going on, I haven't been feeling well, can you do some of the driving? Can you come, be the one driving to see me a little bit more? Or if it's more, if you are living together and, married in a partnership where you're sharing household duties, where somebody might be going through anxiety or depression, where one person for a short season might be picking up a little bit more of certain chores, a little bit more of this, slack. And those are conversations to have of like, hey, can you help me in this area, where it's a conversation, where it's not, oh my God, you're not doing anything, but just really, seeing what that other person is doing, what they are bringing, because with any relationship, there is going to be periods of time where one person might just have more energy than the other, and the other person might not be feeling good. The other person might be going through anxiety, depression, sickness, stress from work, where they're just, physically exhausted, maybe mentally exhausted, where the last thing they want to do is one more thing. And that's where you really need to have good communication with your partner about the expectations, or just be like, hey, I have this really big project at work I'm working on. I'm really stressed out. Can you help with ABC chore over here? Just, till I get this project done, until that's completed. And then, they're going to be maybe going through the same thing of needing help. And if you have children, maybe it's one watching the kids a little bit more, or, doing the dishes more. Even, and that's how it is, like, with me right now, is with my hours and a lot of things I do like this outside of work, where I'm working on my business and other entrepreneurial endeavors with my business and other things, where I have those conversations with my partner. And right now, one of the things he's picked up doing is the dishes. And yes, does he do a lot? Yes. However, I also do a lot. I don't sit there and say like all the things like I do. Like the one that like does like the dusting, the vacuuming, the sweeping, like cleaning the bathroom tub, toilet, sink, floors, all that good stuff. However, he is responsible for cleaning his own bathroom. I do not clean that. So if guests are coming over, that is his responsibility. So I'm like, that's on you. I cleaned this other one. This one, is your responsibility, cleaning for the guest. And usually he takes the garbage out. I bring it. Actually, usually the neighbors take our garbage out, and we take turns bringing the cans back in, because our neighbors are really, really great. Neighbor does the yard work. Our neighbors are really, really great. Even our neighbors, visitors, like wave to us and everything. So that's kind of fun living in our neighborhood, because it's a really tight-knit group, and thankfully it's not in an HOA. And Bruce also loves to do the cooking, so that means he does the grocery shopping, because he knows what ingredients are needed for certain things, where that is not my strong suit. So he's a great cook. He can make lasagna from scratch, tiramisu, all these things, and it's great, and it's great for me. However, like he's usually one that goes to the grocery store, because he might know that ingredient that to him just comes naturally, of like, oh yeah, I'm cooking this isn't that recipe. I am not going to know that obscure thing at all. And even yesterday after work, he asked me to, pick up noodles, and I'm like, yeah, I got it. However, I missed the message, because I had run to the store to get the noodles, and I took my work phone in with me, not my personal cell phone. So I was in the store, and I'm, even calling him, from that number, he's not answering. And then I get all the way home. He's like, oh, I needed you to get sour cream. And I was like, yeah, no. But I did it because I know how hard, he works, and doing that. And did I want to go out when it was like 110 degrees after I already got home from work? Went to the store once, and then had to go back to the store. However, I did it. He was cooking. He was in the middle of cooking. I was like, okay, let me just get some, cold water, go back. Thankfully, when it's situations like that, we have a Target in Aldi that's, maybe 6 minutes away. So thankfully, if we forget something from store, it's not that big a deal. However, like right now, because of other things I'm working on, he also does the dishes. So usually, dishes and putting away the food, and I help still do some of the dishes some of the time, and so like help empty the dishwasher, like I fold all the laundry, do a majority of the laundry to fold it, put it away. So I do things. I just write about the things he does. And I know I have friends whose partners don't help as much as he helps, or as supportive as he is, which I'm very grateful. And most mornings he makes me coffee. Weekends, coffee in bed or mimosa in bed. He does most of the cooking. Now on weekends I might get breakfast too. But usually he's cooking all the dinners, reminds me to pack a lunch, because us nurses, we forget sometimes to take care of ourselves. But he's always reminding me like, hey, at least, did you get your yogurt? Do you have your tuna packet for lunch? And it's the sweetest thing, because that's his way of taking care of me. He's like, remember to take a break, remember to eat lunch, all those things. And it's really nice to have that support and not even, ask for it, where I know a lot of people don't have that. And I want to say, if you don't have that, it's okay to want that. It's okay to ask for that in a relationship. There is no shame. I know a lot of people will tell me, oh, you're so lucky, it must be nice. Yes, it is nice. Yes, I am lucky. However, both Bruce and I have put in the work. We've both done a lot of work on ourselves and continue to do that. We continue to have fun date nights. We play games together, board games and card games, not mind games. And I've taken an interest. There's a card game that he likes. I like, okay, whatever, you like this game. But for me to spend time with him, I'm learning how to play that game, because he likes it and he really finds it fun. So it's a way for us to do something fun and together. And sometimes I win, which is really fun. Sometimes he wins. And it's a great way for us to spend time together. Now, do we spend every minute together? Nope. He has his friends and some of the things he does, and I have my friends and some of the things I do. And we've even taken a couple of separate mini vacations. I went to, last summer, when I went to Disney World, then went to Nashville. Then I went to Nashville for work, and then Vegas. So and then he's had some trips here and there too that he's done without me for some of the tournaments he's involved in, for, some of the hobbies he has, which is really fun. And, not every hobby or everything you do for fun has to be monetized. And I know with him, he's elusive or invasive. He's really not big on social media. He has LinkedIn, which is fun. And I'm okay with that. For his privacy, don't post lots of pictures of him, because that's just not his thing. And I respect that. And I respect him. So you do deserve to receive help. You do deserve, love and support. And however, sometimes to get those things, you have to be the one that, offers help and receives help. Because I know sometimes for myself, it's really hard for me to receive help or ask for help. And that's one thing myself, I have really worked on that. For a long time, I thought asking for help made me weak, and I didn't want to appear weak in front of coworkers. Or the bigger thing was asking for help and then feeling like a burden to the person I'm asking help from. And we all need help at times in different stages. You know, if we're nursing and taking care of a sick patient and that person needs help, we're going to tell them the same thing. Hey, that's our job. That's what we're here to do. It's okay. And reassure them that you're not a burden. And so we need that same grace for ourselves of reminding ourselves we're not a burden, that, you know, we need help, that we're human. And I know as nurses and healthcare givers, it's really hard, and healthcare providers, for us to ask for help, even if it's just a break, even if it's just, you know, respite care for yourself, because we take on the world, we take, you know, the weight of the world on our shoulders, and we weren't meant to do it all alone. We're human. So we're not meant to do it all alone. And there are people that want to help. Sometimes they're just waiting to ask for help because they don't know what you need. They're not mind readers. And if you're giving somebody, you know, a pencil, and, you know, that's not sharpened, and they need a crayon to do what they're doing, you know, that's where you have to have communication and, you know, just offer the help. And that's going to look different to different people. So also having communication of what the expectations are, what the boundaries are, so you're not the only one that's giving, especially as our nature as nurses to give and give until it bleeds, till it's hurt, till we're exhausted, is really working on, you know, having those expectations and boundary and communication, so you're not the one that's always, you know, giving and having other people take and take advantage of that and take advantage of your kindness. So it's a skill that needs to be honed and developed, and it's a skill that can be learned, and I help with that. Also, I have business, which is Sacred Solutions, and you can find it at sacredsolutionsrevolution.com, and where I help nurses and healthcare professionals and healthcareers learn to advocate for themselves, learn how to navigate the complexities of the healthcare system, which is broken. However, I'm trying to be part of the solution to make things better. And right now, with my current position, have the opportunity for, you know, my voice to be heard, for my ideas to be shared, to be respected when bringing forth these ideas, and where my, you know, 20 years of nursing experience is respected. And so if you have any questions or want to reach out to me, I am here to help. So I will see you all next week.